everyone, this is Reverend Prophetess Lady of Wisdom, also known as the Prophet of Christ, with Christian Gifted Psychics and Holy Witches Chapel. Today's date is August the 26th, 2018. And so the reason why you can't see me is because I wanted to show you guys my plants. These are all indoor plants. They are all succulents. Now, I do not claim to be a plant expert. As a matter of fact, these are like my first time really having like indoor plants. So I actually keep them on a plant shelf inside of a real good sunny window. Um, these are sitting inside of a very small greenhouse, a mini greenhouse. The reason for that is because I have a cat and she actually chewed that aloe. Um, and I don't know why she did it, but she did. And it's like a little piece of that aloe. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like kind of broken a little bit because of her chewing on it. And she threw up. I actually ended up taking her to the vet. So the vet said she's okay. So she's okay now. That's the reason why you see these plants are inside this greenhouse, so she won't try to chew on them or mess with them. Because as you know, having pets, they can get really uh, curious and they can tear your plants up and they can get really sick. So you got to watch what type of plants you have. But these are all succulents. They are all babies. They did grow. I also keep them inside of all their pots all have good drainage holes. And I water these guys once every 3 weeks. The reason for that is because they store water in their leaves because they are succulents. They are also desert plants. So you don't want to water these like regular house plants because what will happen is they will get rot root and they will get really, really sick and they will die. So you don't want that to happen. Um, because they're kind of like, I would say, kind of like you. You don't like a whole bunch of water thrown on you. So, but anyway, that's a bad example. But yeah, just make sure if you have a succulent, you don't overwater these guys. Because I had a succulent, my first plant. I watered it once every week and it died. It was rotted and I wasn't able to save a leaf or anything. Um, so this is what they look like. Um, and like I said, I wore these guys once every 3 weeks, and I water them from the top. I water them until the water drips out of the drainage holes. So I guess I can pick one up and show you if I can get under and show you that's a drainage hole. So, and this is also my little cactus. I love that little cactus. And here are all these plants right here. Like I said, I don't claim to know much, but I do want to tell you one thing. You just want to be careful not to overwater. Um, you also want to make sure they get enough indirect light since these are house plants. If you have outdoor plants, I don't know much about like how often you should water if you have outdoor plants, but just make sure I would say to check the weather because if you water the plants and then it rains the next day, that means that's going to be overwatering, and that means that your plant will rot and your plant will die. So that's very, very, very important. You always want to make sure that you're on the, I guess, virgin on underwater versus overwater. But I mean, try not to do either, but sometimes, it's better to be safe than sorry. But like I said, these plants store water in their leaves. So I know how you hear a lot of people say it's better to neglect them. You don't want to neglect any plant. Um, so you want to make sure that the soil is not bone dry and feel like a brick or anything like that. Or if the plant is extremely wrinkled, that means you need to water it. You don't want to let a plant wrinkle and die because it might be too late to save it. So as far as neglecting, don't neglect your plants at all. You just want to just make sure that you give it enough water. But again, these plants seem to be doing pretty well. I had these plants for a few months. Like I said, they are babies. They're still kind of small, um, but they are growing. And this one did stretch a little because I actually just moved this one. This one was sitting a little bit in the back, so it wasn't getting enough light. So you've seen it stretch a little bit. But what I do is I rotate them. I turn these pots around just to make sure each side of the plant gets light since they are house plants. But again, these are my succulents. Yep. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And make sure if you have succulents, be sure number one, you do not overwater. Also, you have a good soil. I have a cactus and a succulent soil mix, meaning you don't want to grab dirt from outside of your house. You don't want any soil that's not going to be well drained and that's not going to dry, because these guys like to be in a dry climate. So you just want to be sure of that. And also, you want to make sure you have a pot that has drainage holes, because, you know, for me personally, that's really important, because if you water these guys, you want to make sure that your plants are not sitting in water, meaning they'll get wet feet, meaning they'll rot and they will die. So you definitely want to make sure that you're not doing any of those things. And also, try not to use spray bottles, guys, to water your plants. When you do water your plants, you want to make sure you soak the plant. That way the water will drip out of the drainage hole. So do not come up with like a spray bottle and start spraying or anything like that. Also, fertilizing is really good. I do have some succulent fertilizer as well. And when I do water, I do fertilize these guys too. That's probably why they grew kind of fast. But again, here you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and make it a blessed Sunday.